You want me to sit here? Okay. You guys getting these? I paid a fortune for them. Some hot new artists my wife fell in love with, some Andrew Carney. My name is Jackson Tennet. I'm an art dealer. I was the exclusive seller of Gregory Davidson's Hidden Blessings series of paintings. I'd gotten a call from a dealer friend, Terry Blake, who said he stumbled upon some work that he wanted me to see. It wasn't the way I'd normally begin working with someone. Gregory's work is not something I would have initially given a second look at. But there was something intriguing about it, and him. I got the sense from Terry that there was a deeper story to his work. So I put a couple of pieces in my gallery, and it seemed instantly people were asking about it, and offers came in. Gregory's Hidden Blessings introduced the world to his genius. It really created the mystery about not only what each piece was hiding, but who Gregory was and why he was so hidden. I'm still not completely certain I know. I'd say we're actually quite friendly, but I'd really only see him maybe once every 2 or 3 years, and rarely at a show. He'd come by my gallery and stay and chat for maybe an hour or two. He's really easy to be around, but very private, very much about letting the art be his voice. I'd start getting more calls. Do you have any Davidsons? What's he working on? How much for the latest in the series? What's the real painting inside the painting? And you start seeing it pop up in culture and TV and film. It was like it's its own force. Like people's eyes were open to it and they just wanted the pieces. Before you knew it, Gregory's work was garnering top dollar and he was becoming quite wealthy from it. I'm not someone of faith like Greg, but he always said it was God's doing because he didn't think it was all that special. I'll admit, it did feel as though it had some provenance to it. I think he was underselling his artistry. And then he stopped, just like that. Greg called me and said he was done. He said he needed to concentrate on his boys. I knew he was a single parent, and I know the story of his wife was not something he brought up ever. But I do believe some of his art came from the scars of that. Figured we had had a good run for several years. I imagined he'd paint more at some point. It's not uncommon for an artist to either hit a dry spell and quit for a time or to just completely stop because they've either blown through all their money or lost their minds trying to keep up with it all. So I never expected to run forever. Yes, I remember him saying that. He felt the whole of his career was something from God and it would only last for a time. I think also he saw early on the ability to become jaded by the business of it all and the critics and voices from all around saying what's in or what's out. So, to somewhat isolate himself from it, he just stays out of the public eye. He's not a rock star artist, although his pieces are truly superstars within themselves. They're brilliant. I just wish he'd paint some more. So it was maybe 8 or 9 years later, I get a call from him, letting me know that he is going to be starting a nonprofit. And I thought, well, that's nice. I mean, he already made enough to live on from the few years we got out of his work. He said he wanted to give back to others, and Matthew and Samuel were going to help him run it. Matt does the management, and Sam the web design. I believe Samuel's got some art in him, too. Maybe we'll see his work someday. Hey, he's happy spending time with his family and friends and helping the world with his charity work. Seems perfect, doesn't it? I mean, I wish he'd paint new things, only in that I think the art world misses him. I certainly always enjoyed my time with him. I believe his early work got snatched up by collectors as well. It was different from Hidden Blessings, for sure. Lots of landscapes and portraits. People had to have them. It was just the fact that you owned a Davidson. If you actually have a piece the world hasn't seen yet, I would love to see it. Maybe. I don't know. Kind of looks like his brush strokes and his lines. Well, it's hard to say. It's nothing like Hidden Blessings, but Hey, if he ends up verifying that, I'm sure we could find you a buyer very quickly. Very quickly. I don't know what happened to Grace. I think maybe an illness. I do know she was very young, 20s. Greg was in his early 30s when I met him. It's all very tragic. Young dad raising two boys, no mother. Of course, he made enough to take care of them all for life, but money's not really what's important when you're talking about losing someone like that. It wasn't that he wouldn't open up about what happened with her. It's just, with Gregory, you felt a bit like you might be prying too much. You didn't want to hurt him with questions, and he wasn't volunteering anything up either. But I do know he loved her very, very much. It was like she was his muse, even from the great beyond. Hey, I'm not one to ask an artist what they're hiding. I've worked with enough of them to know they can be very introverted and touchy about their art. Greg was complex like that. As I said, you felt as though you just wanted to be on your best behavior around him. Always a playful innocence, like he was elevating things while still being very humble and self-deprecating. He's got an excellent sense of humor, actually a bit of a mimic. He would do an impression of me at times, which I thought was pretty funny. My wife said it was spot on. I don't know. I like to believe each one had something different behind it, you know? Each one had its own story and tone, so I think that would be appropriate, you know, to throw us off. Greg's like that. As I said, he's very funny and clever. But I'm just guessing. I never broached the subject. It didn't feel right to. I know one buyer insisted on having theirs x-rayed to see if they could see what was behind it. But they were never able to do it. There was some type of issue with the machine and it didn't work. I thought that went along perfectly with Greg's insistence on his art being something of a gift from God. Then again, it was probably just a bad machine, but did make a headline or two at the time. Please give him my best when you interview him. I was actually very pleased to hear you were doing this. Be prepared, though. Greg is a bit like Willy Wonka. Many have tried through the years to get into the chocolate factory. He must think very highly of you.